Welcome all to this Earth Sciences Week 2020 celebration. This is a awareness initiative about Earth's geosciences, Earth sciences. And in today's, this is the fourth lecture, Professor Nalavade sir, who is an expert wildlifer and also a geography expert. He's expert in many fields. And to travel with him in the field is a great pleasure. It's a treasure trove of knowledge. You enjoy the treasure trove of knowledge. So I request Dr. Ajit Vartak to introduce Nalavade sir first.
It is my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, our old friend, Dr. Sanjeev Nalavade. Dr. Nalavade did his MA, MPhil in Geography and PhD in Earth Sciences from Savitribai Phule Pune University. He was teaching geography for 36 years and retired as a head Department of Geography, Ferguson College in 2017. His areas of interest are wildlife, biodiversity, zoo geography, with reference to Western Ghats, urban biodiversity, urban ecology. He has authored 12 books on wildlife, competitive examinations, and educational tools. He has written more than 200 popular articles on wildlife, biodiversity, environmental issues, geography, and tourism. He has published 40 research articles in national and international journals. He has given more than 1,200 popular talks on various aspects of geography, biodiversity, wildlife, and environment. He has guided 30 students for their MSc dissertation. He has worked in various projects with various different NGOs also related to environment, wildlife, conservation, biodiversity, green heritage related to Lunar Lake, Bhimashankar, Mahabaleshwar Pasgani, Nagzira, and Pune city. He is a founder member of Maharashtra Bhugol Shastra Parishad Pune. He is also associated with our NGO Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini for last 30 years, and presently he is Associate Secretary of Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini. Dr. Nalavade was elected President of 28th Maharashtra Pakshi Mitra Sammelan held at in January 2015. With this short introduction, now I request Dr. Sanjeev Nalavade to deliver his talk.
Okay, thank you, Ajit. Namaskar and good evening, everyone. I take this opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Ajit, Sunil Bide, Manik Tai Phatak, and Mr. Sharad Phatak, and all the Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini Parivar. Actually, I'm talking on how map reading and map making, especially in the field, is fun. Next. Hello. Yeah. Actually, a properly drawn map, contains so much information that it is equivalent to, hundreds of pages of books. Just like we say a diagram is worth 10 pages, a properly drawn map is really worth hundreds of pages. If you know how to read the map, then you can enjoy it. It is a kind of, storehouse of knowledge. Next. Maps have become really an inevitable, unavoidable part of our daily life. Maps are there in books, especially if the books are about, say, travel tourism or, geology or geography or history or economics, So many different fields we use maps in books. Newspapers almost every day, some maps are there. Maybe some political event is there. Maybe some, disaster has happened, and we see the very simple, maps which appear in everyday newspapers. Advertisements, especially of new colonies and new houses and new homes, you have maps included there in the ads. Billboards and TV also, almost every day, there are news from different parts of the world or different parts of the country, and they are shown with, or they are supported with, they are supported with maps. Uh, then for travel planning and route planning, you cannot do without maps. If you don't have maps, you need to have some good maps, and then only you can uh, plan your tour or whatever it is. Mental mapping is something that is inbuilt in us right from the childhood. A child which is hardly an year old and which just has learned to walk on its feet and who cannot talk, but he or she, that child, 1 year old child, knows the location of where the sweetmeats are kept in the house. The child will take you into the kitchen and will show you the location. From that age, that uh, things, mental mapping is there in our brain. Architects blueprints are kind of maps. Maps are used in regional planning, etc. So almost every day we use maps. Next. Now there are so many different definitions of maps given by different experts, but the one definition that is accepted world over is that a map is nothing but a kind of representation of the earth surface, or maybe part of it. Okay. So first of all, it is a representation of the earth, number one. Then every map is drawn with certain scale. Okay, some scale is there, and on the basis of that scale the map is drawn. Generally maps are drawn on flat surfaces. uh, Most of the times they are drawn on flat surfaces, and different kinds of signs and symbols are used to show different kinds of features which exist on the. So these are four parts. It is representation of the earth or part of it. It is drawn according to some chosen scale. It is generally on flat surface. Flat surface may be a piece of paper, maybe a page of book or notebook, maybe a wall, maybe a wall chart. Okay. And generally we use different signs and symbols. And in this uh, slide, you have different scales of maps. Left top is the whole world. You can show the whole world with map. And then left bottom is Asia. Okay, so we have scaling down. Then middle top is the country India. Then you have Maharashtra to the right top. Then you have middle down is Pune district, and right hand bottom corner is very small area, your locality, maybe your neighborhood. In details, every tree or maybe every house in your locality is shown. So that is the range of maps, from very small uh, area around you to the whole world. Okay, that is the range of maps. Next. Next. Okay, the science of map making is known as cartography, and a kind of debate was going on during the post-war period whether to call whether cartography is a science or art. Okay, so after some time, the geographers and the experts, they settled down on this issue, and then they said that okay, it is neither an art, neither an art nor a science. It's a combination. It's a There is a lot of science in map making, but at the same time, when you present the things on map, you require artistic skills. So it's a combination of art and science. And cartography is also called as a process of information communication. Okay, every map communicates some information to the reader, and it starts with geographical environment, which is the uh, which is around us everywhere. Okay, then the cartographer or the map maker or the geographer reads the geographical environment around us. Okay, and he or she interprets it, and then he or she converts it into a map, and that map is presented to the audience or to the recipient. Okay, and then that recipient, who is the map reader or the final customer, he reads it, okay, according to his whatever cognition skills and things like that. So this is very interesting. Next. Okay, now the world is full of information, and that information is presented through maps. uh, Either the map maker or the final, the who read map reader, they look at the map through these three different ways. The first way is cognitive. The map maker has uh, through his cognitive skills, he has tried his best to present things on the map. Then every map needs to be functional. That means it needs to be useful for the map reader or the customer. And maps also have lot of lexical information. Lexical in the sense related to languages. See, maps from different parts of the world, they have different terms used. For example, if you consult the maps from, say, West Asia, from the Arabian Peninsula, or from North Africa, you will have words like wadis or jazira, for example. Wadis are valleys in Arabic terms, in Arabian language, and jazira is island. So you will find these terms frequently used in maps from that region. If you go to Malaysia, for example, you will find bukit. Bukit is hill in Malaysian language, in Bahasa Malaysia. It means hills. So Bukit Timah, for example, the highest point in Singapore is Bukit Timah. So you will find in that part of the world, in maps, words used from that part. In India, for example, Assam, you will find beels. Everywhere you will find beels. Beels means wetlands. Okay. If you go to Karnataka, then you will find Halla, which is stream. Many small, streams. They have Tachi Halla, for example. Halla is a small stream. So that lexical aspect is also there to any map. So every map is a combination of cognitive skills, functional skills, and lexical skills. Okay, next. Now, every map generally has these 5 elements. If one of these elements is missing, you cannot call it an official map. Every map should have a title. Okay, there should be a title. Title generally includes the place name, or the area, the region, and what is depicted in the map, whatever is depicted in the map. Then scale is to be given at one of the corners. Generally it is given at the left or right bottom corner. Then direction is shown with an arrow, which generally shows a north direction. Always, all the arrows, the direction of the arrow is always north. And most maps, they have coordinates, that is lines of latitudes and longitudes. Okay, this provides the map some authenticity, locations are concerned. And last but not the least is the conventional signs and symbols. Every map has some conventional signs and symbols which are used to present or represent the ground features, real ground features onto the map. Okay, so these are the 5 elements of maps. If any of these elements is missing, then you cannot call it an authentic map. Next. Next. Now, topo sheet. Survey of India, SOI is Survey of India, and topo sheet is the map which is made by them, and they have actually surveyed on the field. And Survey of India is the oldest government organization in India. It was established way back in 1778, so it is more than 250 years old, and they have full authority to survey and publish maps of India, and the map is called as topo sheet. And this is the marginal information, the state names, the district names, the year of survey, that sheet number is there, index sheet number is there, and at the bottom you have two squares on to the left and right, which provide you signs and symbols. Generally, the square to the left provides physical symbols, natural symbols. The square to the right provides you cultural symbols. So the scale is also given at the center. So topo sheets are not very easily available. Of course, uh, some topo sheets are restricted, especially coastal topo sheets, or very topo sheet which are from some strategic areas. They are restricted, but otherwise non-strategic areas topo sheets are available. So next.
Hacker or hacker.
Hello. Then
बोला की सर.
hello.
येते सुनील, संजीव येते, ऐकू येते?
येत ऐकू सर?
हा, येतं येतं.
हो येतंय.
अरे
हो येत ऐकू.
hello, can you?
Yes, yes, you can hear.
नाही आता Alex, I'm getting a message, hacker, and somebody is speaking in Marathi.
अरे वा, होय.
Okay, I'll continue. The signs and symbols which are given at the bottom of every topo sheet. There are two squares. The one on the left provides you natural or physical features information, and some symbols are line symbols. They are linear in nature. For example, roads are there, streams are there. Then you have boundaries, you have railway lines. Okay, then contour lines are there. These are all linear symbols. Then the symbols at the bottom are called as point symbols. They depict some information at a point. For example, you have temple, or you have a church, or some other religious place which is located at a point. Okay, then you have a castle, you have fort, you have tree, for example. So those are point symbols. Next. Hello. Next. Okay.
then कनेक्टिव्हिटीचा आहे इश्यू सगळीकडेच. पाऊस पडतोय ना त्याच्यामुळे.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, okay. Got it. Sorry. Now the other grid which is given, other square which is given at the right bottom, mostly deals with cultural features, and you have these short forms. BM is benchmark, PO is post office, TO is telegraph office, and so on and so forth. And some of the symbols are area symbols. See, the symbols which are shown in topo sheets are of three types. Line symbols, they are linear in nature, like roads, railway lines, streams. Then point symbols, they depict some information around or at a point. And you have area symbols. Area symbols, they cover the whole area. Maybe a taluka, a district, or some campus, some compound. Next. This is a close-up view of a topo sheet. This is Lonar Lake, the only meteorite impact lake in Maharashtra, in India. And that circular area enclosed is shown by contour lines. Okay, contour lines are they have enclosed the saline lake, which is at the bottom of this crater. This is a crater, of course, and yellow part is mostly under cultivation. Then faint areas, faint yellow is shade, buff shade is mostly open scrub. And you have Lona town to the northeast of the crater, which is shown in red color. So these are standard patterns. Red color for settlements, yellow color for say area under cultivation, green color for vegetation or forest. So these are standard formats, standard colors used. Next. There are so many uses of maps. I have just mentioned some major uses. The basic use of any map is to locate places and things, especially if you are traveling, if you are trekking. Okay, so if you are in a new town or new area, you with that, then maps help you locate. For example, if you are in Hong Kong and you have never been to Hong Kong in your life, but you have a very uh, properly good map with you, then with the help of map you can locate different streets, you can locate museums and those kinds of things, railway stations, metro stations. So locating places and things is one of the basic uh, utilities of maps. Then understanding surface features. Surface features means physical as well as cultural also. Surface features include hill ridges, mountains, plateaus, plains, rivers, forest, all kinds of surface features, ups and downs. And you have towns, streets, buildings, those kinds of features. Then the maps are widely used for education purpose, for educating students, especially if you are teaching geography, geology, anthropology, economics, history. So many fields are there, ecology, so many travel tourism. You need every now and then you need maps. Then research, for research purpose also you need map, especially research in ecology, research in botany, zoology, geography, geology, history. Yeah. So all kinds of things. So for research purpose also you need maps. Maps are widely used for planning and development. You go to visit any website of any government department, you will find maps there, all kinds of maps. Maps are very inevitable part of travel tourism and trekking. You cannot work without maps in travel while you are traveling or trekking. uh, Maps are inevitable in military operations. You cannot fight a war without proper defined maps. That is just not possible. uh, maps are useful in Maps are useful in disaster management also. If a disaster happens, then for example tsunami in 2004, then you get to know, with the help of map, you get to know which areas are highly affected, which are moderately affected, which are least affected, like that. And then accordingly you can plan your disaster management. uh, Maps are also useful in environmental conservation and management. And maps are necessary for developing infrastructure, all kinds of infrastructure, whether it is building, roads and railway lines or airports and whatnot, all kinds of infrastructure. Next. Uh, Maps can be divided into different categories, or what is called as types of maps. Generally, two broad categories are natural maps and cultural maps. Sometimes natural maps are also called as physical maps, and they are further subdivided. Natural maps are further subdivided into so many of these categories: physiographic, climate, weather, biological, astronomical, etc. And cultural maps are also further subdivided into political, cultural, historical, economic, etc. So we'll have a look at each and every type, how a physiographic map looks like and things like that. Next. Okay. Physiographic map is also called as topographical map, and the major this is a physiographic map of India, and major physiographic divisions are shown. Himalayas to the north, then you have Indo-Gangetic plain to the south of it. Then that triangular peninsular Indian plateau, Deccan plateau is a part of that plateau. Then you have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, which are edges of the peninsular Indian plateaus. And across them, you have Western coast and Eastern coast. And finally, the Andaman Nicobar Islands. So these are 5 or 6 major physiographic divisions of India. You can have a similar kind of map for Maharashtra, for Asia, etc. Next. Climate and weather maps. Climate, there is a difference between climate and weather. Climate is average condition, and weather is day-to-day situation of the is called as a weather. The map on the left is a climatological map, and the lines are called as isolines, and this map shows the onset dates of monsoon. For example, down south, it arrives around 1st June in Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Slightly to the north in Karnataka, it arrives at 5th of June. In Maharashtra, 7th to 10th of June. Then 15th of June, and finally 15th of July in Rajasthan. So these are dates of arrival of monsoon. Those red lines, and the green lines are a retreat of monsoon, and they also have average dates there. So this is a kind of climate map. The one on the right is for a certain day of the year, and you have a cyclone formed over the Bay of Bengal, and it is making landfall along the eastern coast. So this is the situation at a certain point in time. So it is called as weather map. So climate map on the left and weather map on the right. And the one on the right is satellite imagery. Next. Biological maps, obviously they depict biological phenomena. The one on the left is about the world distribution of tiger. Tiger is only found in Asia.
Okay.
This is astronomical chart, and we generally don't call it a map because it doesn't fit within the that definition of a map. Map is a representation of Earth or part of it. So this is not the Earth. We are going away from the Earth. So they call it astronomical chart. Therefore, and this is constellations as they are seen in the northern hemisphere, and it is always circular in shape. And you have 4 directions shown there. हॅलो
नेक्स्ट करायचं का?
हा नेक्स्ट
मध्येच आवाज गेला कारण.
Okay. Now, since this is we are celebrating a science week, and most of the participants, they are from geology field. So I have chosen many geological maps. Here you have to the left India's very simplified, I would say oversimplified geological map. And you have Deccan Trap here. Then this is the recent sediment, Pleistocene, and things like that. So these are ancient rocks to the south. These green zones, belts are Gondwana and the Vindhyas, and so on and so forth. So, and the other map here is that of the famous continental drift theory by Alfred Wegener. And this was once upon a geological time, of course, during the Permian period. All the continents, they were one, and we were one single continent, a supercontinent, and we had a super ocean around us. And then they started disintegrating and started moving away from each other. This is India, and India was somewhere near the Antarctica, and then from there on it started moving northeastward, and then this is the present situation. Okay, and they say that it is still, that drift is still happening. Okay, next. Another geological map. This is one of the associated theories called as seafloor spreading. This is the Atlantic Ocean, and you have North Atlantic, South Atlantic, and this is the red one is in the middle is the mid-Atlantic ridge. Okay, that is where the contents on the either side, or the seafloor on the either side, is moving apart from each other. And since both the continent, all the contents on the either side, North and South Americas, Africa, etc., they are riding on these plates. They are also, it is said that they are also moving away from each other. So next. Now, this map depicts epicenters of earthquakes that have happened between the decade 1980 and 1990. And all the red dots, they show the locations or epicenters, location of epicenters of the earthquakes. And the yellow line is, of course, the plate boundary, crustal plate boundary. And obviously, most of the epicenters, they are located on and around the plate boundary. This is the fiery ring of Pacific. Most of the locations are around the Pacific Ocean. So this is the fiery ring of Pacific. Next. Another geological map. The one to the left is it depicts natural hazards region-wise, and these are mostly drought-prone areas here. Then these are areas, cyclone-prone areas, especially eastern coast of India, because most of the cyclones, they happen in the Bay of Bengal. They originate in the Bay of Bengal. Then you have these rivers in between. The blue lines are rivers, and those are flood-prone areas shown. And the green dots and green areas to the north and east, those are earthquake-prone areas. So this is a general natural hazards map of India. And the other map to the right bottom is that of Meghalaya, one of the northeastern states. And it shows major minerals found in Meghalaya. So this is also kind of geological map. It belongs to economic geology, kind of, you can say. Next. This is a structural map of the area around the Red Sea. And you have the Arabian Peninsula, the shields on the either side of the Red Sea. The red lines depict axis and drift, all the fracture zones and thrust areas and folded areas and things, sutures and things like that. So next. Aeronautical and navigational charts, these are very useful. The one on the right up top is aeronautical chart, which provides information about control towers and airports in the vicinity, then the standard routes and things like that. And the one on the left bottom is navigational chart, also called as nautical chart. And depth of water, then shallow areas, location of shoals, islands, nearby ports and harbors. Sometimes current and tidal movements are also shown on these maps, and these are used by ships which are plying in the oceans. Next. Now, so far we saw all kinds of physical or natural maps. Now let us go for cultural maps. And the most common cultural map is, of course, the political map. This is Asia political. All the countries, every country, however small, is shown here. And you can divide India into a number of states that can be political map. Um, Russian Federation, China, Canada, you can divide into provinces that can be political map. Within states, for example, Maharashtra, you can divide Maharashtra into number of districts that can be a political map. So whenever you show political boundaries, that becomes a political map, administrative and political boundary. Next. Cultural maps also include, language maps and religion map, and cultural maps showing cultural features. The one on the left shows distribution of major languages in India, and that orangish color, which occupies half of India, is of course Hindi, which is of course the commonest language of India. Then you have other languages shown with different colors. You have Marathi, Maharashtra, Kannada in Karnataka, and Telugu, Tamil, etc. And in the Northeast, you have so many languages. The diversity, just as you have very high biodiversity there, you also have very high linguistic diversity there. So language map is also a cultural map. A map based on religious distribution, for example, of India, of Asia, of world, can also be called as a cultural map. The one on the right shows, major cultural features of those states. So this is also a kind of cultural map. Maybe dance forms, maybe some other features. Next. Historical maps. This is the Maurya Empire. This situation shown in the map is from the 3rd century BCE. Okay, so any map that shows historical events or happenings can be called as a historical map. For example, a map showing different battles of Second World War, for example, it can be an historical map. So Maratha Empire, for example, showing the distribution of Maratha Empire. So that can be a historical map, etc. Next. Economic and commercial maps. Here, automobile industry clusters in India are shown. There are 3 major clusters: Chennai, down south, then Maharashtra, especially Pune, centered around Pune in western part, and Delhi, and that part, Manesar, and that part. So we have these 3 clusters, and they are shown with proportional circles. How much is the production? How many cars and vehicles are produced? On that basis, they are shown the circles, number of vehicles, and the name of the companies and their brands, logos are shown in the associated squares. So this is a kind of economic and commercial map. Next. Cadastral, this is a kind of cadastral map. Cadastral maps are generally land holding maps. They show land holdings and ownership of lands, and sizes of plots and houses and things like that. This is a village map. It was made by using orienting compass and chain and tape also. So, and other features are also shown there along with cadastral properties. You have dike. There are 2 dikes along this river. So dike number 1 and dike number 2. Then the river also has midstream island in the down south. There is a pond on one side of the village. There is a hillock also on which the main temple is located. So these other landmarks are also shown in the map. This is a kind of cadastral map. Town maps are also cadastral maps. Next. Aerial photograph. Any photograph that is taken from the air, mostly through an aircraft, is called as aerial photographs. And this is an old photograph from Orange Country in USA, 1942 picture. Next. And of course, satellite images, which are, most of the present day maps are either satellite images or made using satellite images. This is Lonar Lake again, the meteoric impact lake in Maharashtra. Next.
Now, aerial photograph is any photograph that you take from aircraft or other flying object, and or it can be from any vantage point which is quite above the ground. So it can be from aircraft, helicopter, it can be from a drone, it can be from a balloon, rockets, pigeons. In the past, they would use pigeons. They would tie a camera, a light camera around the neck of the pigeons, and they would fly them into the air, and with remote control they would get photographs. Then flying kites are also used. I have tried this once, but without success. Then photographs taken from parachutes, vehicles mounted on poles, etc. Then last but not the least, high vantage point. You can have a photograph taken from top of a tower, maybe headland or maybe a peak, can also be called as aerial photo. Such photos are oblique. For example, the photo that is shown here is from the top of the Skytree Tower, Tokyo City. Is you can see, the vast expanse of Tokyo City. So this is also a kind of aerial photograph, though it is not taken from an aircraft. Next. Now, representation of relief is very important, for defining the terrain. And it is very one of the basic things to do, and very useful for further studies. And there are various techniques used for depicting relief, and one of the commonest technique is of course contours. By using contours are isolines which join places with same values. So next. This is how contour map looks like. You have contours after every fifth contour is given the value of whatever 1600 feet and 800 feet and so on and so forth. So on that basis you can count or you can get to know what are the values of in between contours, and you get to know what are the height values or elevation values of different areas or spots also. Next. Now you can use this is called as shade and shadow technique. Okay. And you can depict the heights, height differences with the help of different shades and shadows. And this is an old technique, of course. Of course it is still used with the help of computer softwares. Next. Hachure lines is an old technique which has been in practice, for the last almost 200 or so years. And we use lines like this as they are shown here. And generally they show orientation of the slope, whether slope is south facing, north facing, east facing, like that. And it gives a general sense of steepness of the slope. If the lines are longer and thinner, that means the slopes are gentler. If the lines are closer, like they are, in the right hand top corner, lines are shorter and thicker and closer, that means the slope is very steep there, whereas the slope is gentler here on the other side. So Hachure lines are they successfully can provide you different shapes and an impression of the slope and the shapes of the features, land features. Next. This is the Mahabaleshwar map, which I made way back in 1986 using Hachure lines. And to get the enhanced impact effect, I added colors also. So the plateau is colored with that yellowish orangish color, and the green are the valleys. And so 5 rivers, they originate from this plateau. So this is a kind of radial drainage. So next. Block diagrams is another technique. Suppose you make a clay model of some landscape, and if you make a sketch of that clay model, how that sketch would look like, that sketch is called as block diagram. So it's a three-dimensional perspective diagram, and it's a kind of aerial view of the landscape, kind of aerial view, bird's eye view of the landscape. And it is very popular in geology. And in this picture, in block diagrams, the underlying geological structures can also be shown. Okay, and it is made from a series of cross profiles. Next diagram is a block diagram of Sinhagad Fort near Pune. Next. Hello.
हा येते ऐकू येते.
Now, now this is a block diagram of Sinhagad Fort, and I have used it with the help of 4-5 profiles, east face profiles, contour profiles, and I draw the profiles and I organize them one behind another in an oblique fashion, and then I fill in the blanks, and this was how this block diagram was developed. And block diagram, as I said, provides you bird's eye view of the area. So you have a bird's eye view of the northern slopes of Sinhagad, forested ravines, the hamlet, location of the hamlet, fort top. Then those red lines are red bowl horizons, very close to the, within that cliff line. And why I'm interested in red bowl, because most of the vulture nesting sites once upon a time were located in the red bowl horizons. Now vultures are no more there. They have become locally extinct. So next. Now relief can be represented with a kind of diagrams which are called as perception diagrams. Now perception is you visit an area, you roam around, you understand the area, you watch the area, you observe the details, and then you interpret your own way. Okay, that area, geographical area, you interpret your own way, and then you organize the whatever you have got to know, you organize it in your own ways. That is what is called as perception diagram. Next diagram is a perception diagram. Next. Now this diagram I made for Deepak Dalal. I think many of us know Deepak Dalal. He is a well-known author. He writes for children, and he writes adventurous novels. And most of his novels have geographical background. They are based in Andaman Nicobar, in the Himalayas. So one of the series of novels is based in the Sahyadri. So he asked me whether it is possible to draw, the background. So I said, yes, it is possible. And so I made this perception map of the plateaus, Mahabaleshwar Plateau, Raireshwar, and Koleshwar, one after another. There are 3 plateaus, one after another. So, and this is an imagery, I just imagined because I happened to visit this area so many times. And I just imagined and I drew it on the paper. So this is not true to the scale, but it at least provide the, the information about the area, because the hero, he goes and lives here, and he, whatever his adventures, they are related to Mahabaleshwar and Koleshwar and Raireshwar and things like that. So next. Now many times we fly, and if you have a window seat, and if you are interested in looking out, if you are a geographer or geologist, you definitely are interested. So I always see that I get a window seat, and I'm ready with my camera always. And I got hundreds of snaps from aeroplane. And this snap I got over Japan last year. And you can edit, this you can interpret your own way. For example, I just got this snap from in my smartphone, with my smartphone, and I enlarged it and I added so many things there. For example, the coastline is irregular, then the terrain is rugged close to the coastline. There is an arrangement of alternate arrangement of headlands and bay all along. So you can interpret anything, you can interpret. So geography is everywhere. So next. Next. Okay. Now this is an oblique aerial photograph taken from top of a fort, hill fort near Mahabaleshwar, and you can again interpret such photos. Terrace. There is first level of first terrace, second terrace is somewhere here, third terrace is down here. So you can identify different terraces at different heights. This terrace has this village located on it. Then you have a ravine there. Koina River is flowing like this, and it has made this V-shaped valley. This is the end of Koina Reservoir, Shivasagar, and on the horizon is Mahabaleshwar Plateau. And this is the ridge on which we were standing and taking these photographs. And this is north direction. So you can convert your photograph into a map. That is very much possible. Okay, very much possible. We will never think of that. Okay, next. See, you can, with minimum equipments, you can make a rough field map, and that is always called as parcel map. And you just need a drawing sheet or a drawing book, pencils. If there are few color pencils, well and good. You will need an orienting compass like shown, which is shown here in the picture. Okay. Binocular is generally needed, for observing features which are quite away from you. And if you have GPS, well and good. At least you will have coordinates, detailed coordinates. So next. And you have to reach early. If you have chosen an area which you wish to make a field map, rough field map, sketch map for, then you can reach early there, walk around, get the feel of the area. If you are already familiar, well and good. If you are not familiar, then walk around, get the feel of the area. Then choose suitable OP. OP means observation points. These are, maybe top of a hillock, top of a hill, those are called as observation points. From these points, you have a wide angle view or bird's eye view of the area. Okay. You can have more than one. If the area is large, you can have many more observation points. Then from each observation points, you look around, look for the prominent landmarks, look for their orientation. How are they, spread north, south, east, west, or any other direction. Try to get the GPS points of these landmarks. You'll have to, of course, roam around. Get also wide angle photos. These photos, they will help you in refining your sketch maps later. If there are distant objects and it is not possible to reach them, watch them through binocular, and you develop a panoramic sketch and come home and convert that sketch into a rough sketch map. So it's a very, very satisfying process, very happy process doing this. Next. This is a map sketch which I made for Kiran Purandare when he was living in Nagzira long ago. And I just use orienting compass and paces. And all the major landmarks are shown here. The lake is there. There is a hillock nearby. A stream comes out of the lake. Then there are quarters and other buildings, and there are grazing. We've also marked grazing areas of chitals or spotted deer. And we also marked, the animals which we used to see in those areas. So this is a kind of, sketch map for wildlife purpose, you can say. Next. Map is a very good documentation tool, and if it is a dated map, it then captures the moments of the date or of the time. Okay, and if you visit the same place again after some time, few years or whatever, and if you make another map, then you can compare the previous map with the present map, and you get to know the changes, what changes have happened there. Timely changes, maybe land use has changed, maybe river course has shifted, maybe urban growth is there, town has overgrown. The map that is shown here in the picture is map of a garden and tree locations. This map was made by Team Ranva in 2002, and this is a garden in Pune city, and every tree was surveyed and marked. Its location was marked, and every that circle is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, and there is another list, reference list. One number is what tree, two number is what tree, like that. So this map, somebody can go there today and check whether these trees are there, whether some of trees have disappeared, whether new trees have come up there, things like that. So this is a good documentation tool, definitely. Next. Another map of Matheran, 1979, and we were that time we did survey the wildlife also, and I tried to show the location where the concerned birds and animals were seen at that time. So again, this is the kind of documentation of wildlife of Matheran of that time, and we can go today and we can check whether these animals are still seen in those areas or not. So next. Now this is Mumbai. Two maps are there. The first map belongs to 17th century, when Mumbai was made up of only 7 islands, and the present map is to the right. And you can compare these two maps. Map is also a very useful tool of comparison. Okay, timely comparison, temporal comparison, and you can see the areas in between which were reclaimed. So bays are, of course, the bay, more or less the outline is same. Okay, the bays are still there. The Back Bay and the Mahim bays are still there, but the inland water is filled with city or Mumbai city. The South Mumbai is mostly as it is seen today. So next. Okay, now this is something funny we have been doing. I have been working on Mahabaleshwar for last 2-3 years, and we are working on how the habitats have changed. Now we have been using Bollywood songs, old Bollywood songs, for as a as a source for habitat changes. Okay, for example, this screenshot is from 1973 film. And this song was shot on the tableland, and the heroine, they are at the edge of the tableland, and we while doing the present research, we have identified this spot, and we have got photographs also. And behind the hero, you see degraded forest and scrub, but presently that whole area is under plantation, and you have very tall trees, and that empty area is now filled with bungalows and buildings and resorts. So this is how we have been using old, because we have downloaded more than 30 Bollywood songs from 1960s and 70s, which were shot at Mahabaleshwar and Pachgani. So we have got screenshots of different habitats as in the background, and we are comparing the situation at that time and what is the present situation and how habitats have changed, positively and negative. So next. GPS nowadays has become quite common. Even you need not go for a Garmin GPS. Even we have GPS apps which can be easily downloaded in your smartphone. So they are useful for locating, giving exact positions, more or less exact positions, and they are of, there are various other uses. Every car nowadays is uh, fit with GPS. So to prevent theft, then it is very useful tool for mapping and surveying. It is useful in hiking and backpacking, in search and rescue operations. If you want to define a route from place A to place B, GPS is of great help. So next. GIS is a kind of system. It is a geographical information system, and it's a framework for gathering, organizing, managing, analyzing, and again producing geography based information or data. So it captures and stores geography based data or spatial data. It organizes and edits, it processes, and it creates data layers like shown here. Um, there is roads and land use and boundaries and things like that. And the output is final output. When you fuse all these layers together, the final output is a digital map. Okay, so GIS is a rage nowadays. Next. Okay, this is a very interesting latest case. A female common crane was GPS tagged at a lake near Ahmedabad in Gujarat. This was in March 2020, before the lockdown started. And then the female started the return journey to its breeding ground. The purple line shows its returning path. And then it went to its breeding site, which is located in Kazakhstan, very close to Russian boundary. It bred there, must have bred there, remained there for some 3 months, and it returned to that Nal Sarovar near Ahmedabad. The returning route is also shown here, orange line, and it returned in August. So it went in March like this. It spent there 3 months there, 4 months there, and it returned in August at the same place where it was geotagged. So this is how the migratory routes of birds and even other animals can be found out using satellite tracking technology. Okay, next. So many map related websites and apps are available, and there are literally hundreds of them, and most of them are user friendly. I'm just talking about 3 of them which I frequently use: Wikimapia, Google Earth, and Google Maps. All of them are available as apps also. So they all provide you bird's eye view of the world, and you can have 3D terrain. If you want 2D or 3D, you have choices. You can have 2D terrain, you can 3D terrain. And some of them are sharing apps and collaborative. For example, Wikimapia, you can locate some spots. You can name them. Okay, you can add information. Okay, it's a sharing app, sharing platform. So it is in public domain. You can find places. You can measure distances between 2 spots or 2 places. Then you can get driving directions. And it also provides, especially Google Map, also provides you movement history. Last 1 month, which places I have visited last 1 month or last 6 months or last full year, like that. It can provide you your movement history. So of course, you have to decide whether to allow that or not. If you are bothered about your privacy, you cannot go for that. So it is up to you. So next. There are so many books on maps, map reading, map making. These four I would recommend. Maps and diagrams, the one on the right top, is one of the standard books. If you are interested in making your own maps and diagrams, geographical diagram, then this is ideal book for you. And it provides you all the basic information, what types of pencils and pens and ink and those kinds of things are required, and how to go about, what are the types of signs and symbols, how to represent them, how to develop block diagrams, and how to draw hatchers and things like that. Very useful book. The book I like most is the one which is on the top left, How Maps Work. This is by Mac Crane, and it's a fantastic book. It discusses, the theory and philosophy of representation and visualization and designs of maps. Okay, fantastic book, really great book. Then the one on the left bottom is biography of that great cartographer of the 17th century, Gerard Mercator. So it's a fantastic biography, and he made the first world map, based on some logic, and it is called as Mercator's projection. It is still in use, okay, in navigation, etc. And another book, fourth book, right side bottom, is the history of map making history, drawing territory, British mapping in India, 1756 to 1905. So map making history of British India, of that period, 150 years is given here. And it mostly deals with survey of India. And it's fantastic. I mean, no doubt about that. Next. Okay. Now, map map. If you ask me, then my take is map making as well as map reading. They are, as exciting, as mysterious, and as enthralling as reading, any adventurous story or any Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie story. They have, that exciting and mysterious. So, next. Okay, thank you. Sorry for some technical problems. I tried my best.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Nalavade sir.
If there are any questions, please, they are welcome.
Yeah, you can ask the questions in a chat mode. I will read out those questions, and Nalavade sir will answer those questions.
Sunil, I think meantime we can unmute Savarkar sir, and if he can say some words, because he knows Nalavade Sanjeev very well about his work also.
Nalavade sir, Shankar sir has said, thanks for your nice presentation.
Okay, thanks.
Your presentation is appreciated by many people.
Sunil,
And one of your student is here, Katpure.
Yeah, okay.
सावरकर सर आहेत लाईनवर.
हो आहे.
सावरकर सर, तुमचे काय काही
अतिशय उत्तम प्रेझेंटेशन होत आहे, आणि माझा स्पेसिफिक इंटरेस्ट होता, कारण आय एम अ फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर अँड वाईल्ड लाईफ मॅनेजर. आणि मी खूप चालतो जंगलामध्ये. तर हे जे टोपोग्राफिक मॅप्स आहेत, पुष्कळशे मॅप्स मी स्वतः ऑन साईट, जसं आपण दाखवलं, ऑन साईट छोटे मॅप्स मी बनवले on some of the projects which were extremely useful to me. So I was monitoring the reintroduced rhinos in Dudhwa National Park.
Okay, great.
And there was a female which has just given birth to a calf. And she had specific areas of hiding the calf or keeping that calf secure. And although we had a nice map of the 25 square kilometers area, but I had to have this map with no notes.
Okay.
And there were termite mounds with flat heads on
Okay.
which tigers used to get up
Okay.
to watch in that tall grassland. So I put those points and termitoriums in my annotated map, which was extremely useful. So this has been a wonderful experience.
Sir, when was this? What? Maybe some 30 years ago?
This was between 1989 to 1996.
Okay. Long ago. Okay.
Yes.
That time the GPS, must not be there then.
No, it was not there.
Not there.
But I still depend heavily on maps that I would like to
they are very useful to
make on small sites
Yeah,
or
yeah.
look at the topographic maps at various scales.
Yeah. So you are a geographer also, practical geographer. In a way.
No, working in the forest, this was absolutely essential.
Yeah, really.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Can you request Moabe, sir?
Yeah. Moabe sir, please unmute yourselves.
Moabe, sir, was a Deputy Director General of Geological Survey of India.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Vartak Sahab, and congratulations to the organization. And really, I am very thankful to Dr. Nalavade. He has provided a very useful information, especially for the geologists and all those explorers. And in spite of all those troubles, it still went very well, and he could really make it so simple. And illustrations were really very, very interesting. Thanks, Dr. Nalavade. Thank you so much.
Sir,
I think Shirish Manchi, one of my students, he asked, how do you think availability of Google Earth?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. मी वैष्णवी पाटील बोलते.
Please go on.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
मॅडम एक मिनिट, पहिला सर एक प्रश्न टॅकल करतायत, तो झाल्यावर आपण तुम्ही बोला. नलावडे सर, तुम्ही मंची सरांचं ह्याचं उत्तर द्या.
Okay, Shirish Manchi has asked me as to how Google Earth has affected map reading skills. It has definitely affected. Definitely Google Earth and these Wikipedia and Google Maps, they are terrific, awesome, and they give you accuracy and everything. But we have lost the fun, of making and reading maps using, very traditional technology, very simple traditional technology. We have definitely lost the fun, definitely.
Yeah, that's how I realized, sir. Because earlier we had made maps of Mula Muta Bird Sanctuary.
Yeah, I remember.
And now we see computer, we don't really make things. So
Brigadier Shastri sir is here, it appears. Shastri sir, will you like to say something? Brigadier Shastri sir, I can unmute you. No.
Shankar sir is there?
Somebody from army, it seems, is joined, so they must have used the maps in different perspectives. So I was just trying to add that perspective to this meeting.
Sudha says that map making must be easy for me because I'm an artist. Yeah, that is true. That is true, really. I can, being an artist, I can easily make maps also. I have that, that perception is there. So that is true.
Because GSI people, they are very they use the maps, topo shades in the field.
Yeah. if you have any more questions, you can direct them to Nalavade sir. He has already shown his email ID. You can note it down once again. Nalavade sir, फक्त ID आपली एकदा सांगता परत. Email ID.
Very simple. My Puna, MYPOONAH, My Puna H, MYPOONAH @yahoo.co.in.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for very wonderful lecture. Ajit,
Sorry
vote of
for
thanks.